Almost since the beginning, Star Wars has been a story of redemption from darkness. So in an ironic sort of way, Battlefront 2 is a better Star Wars game because of its initial fall to the dark side and subsequent journey back to the light. After over 2 years of updates and changes, EA and DICE have redeemed this gorgeous shooter and turned it into one of the best multiplayer adaptations of the Star Wars universe to date.
Let them take any more command posts.
Taking in all Battlefront 2 now has to offer at once is honestly a bit overwhelming. Setting aside the overly safe, short, and disappointing single-player story, there's a wealth of wave-based cooperative maps and a litany of online competitive multiplayer modes. Most of them play wonderfully, and they all ooze that classic Star Wars look and feel on an unrivaled scale. Whether you're fighting on the ground with a blaster in your hands, cutting down troops with a lightsaber, or dogfighting in space, Battlefront 2 is an immensely entertaining ride through a galaxy far, far away. Crucially, DICE absolutely nailed the basics. Take the mechanics of firing a blaster. Feels just a bit chunky, as it should, with that signature sound bursting with each shot. And even though every weapon shoots similar looking bolts, they all feel extremely distinct out of the box and can be customized further. What's great about Battlefront 2 is that it lets you play with all its toys, no questions asked. Every character class and playable hero is available from the start, and the tedious unlocking grind from launch has been completely removed. Luke, Vader, Boba Fett, Rey, you name them, they're all here. The only things you can buy are cosmetics like new outfits and emotes, so there's no hint of pay to win in play. Alternatively, you can earn these through loot boxes you can't pay for. It's a good, fair system, and thankfully entirely separate from progression. That makes these boxes exciting to open because the cosmetics don't come at the cost of character upgrades and unlocks. As you level up, you unlock new ability cards with passive upgrades, such as increased health regeneration speed or a bigger grenade blast radius. They're designed as ways to refine your playstyle rather than make you dramatically stronger, and it's a fulfilling system that rewards sticking with the class without forcing you to. You'll spend most of your time as Battlefront's basic soldier classes, but as you play, you earn in-match points that you can eventually spend to spawn as a hero. That can seriously turn the tide. These iconic characters are absolute killing machines, and when you clash with another hero, it's extremely memorable. The list has been growing since launch and now includes everybody from Obi-Wan and his Force push to lesser favorites like General Grievous, including his ridiculous saber windmill attack that shreds troopers. Pitting original trilogy Darth Vader against the prequel trilogy Anakin Skywalker hero is far more entertaining than it should be. Battlefront 2's maps feel like a greatest hits selection of the entire Star Wars galaxy, from all three movie trilogies plus one-offs and the cartoons. The dense greenery of Kashyyyk is a great contrast to the brown wastelands of Geonosis, and fighting across Cloud City on Bespin is a blast. Thanks to the piles of content, every mode has an extreme level of map variety, and that makes it easy to fall into that just one more game mentality because you'll see something new every time for a long while. The catch is that finding a match is hit or miss depending on the game mode and time of day. It's not very difficult to queue up for the main modes like Capital Supremacy and Galactic Assault, especially on PS4. But smaller modes like Hero Showdown and Hero Starfighters can take a few minutes of waiting before you can enjoy them. Then there are the even less popular modes, like the capture-based Jetpack Cargo or Blast, which is just Team Deathmatch. Those are often complete dead zones with no players. Thankfully, Quick Play is a reliable fallback that will always drop you into what's hot, but the limited choice queues can occasionally be disappointing all the same. The recently added Capital Supremacy mode is both one of the busiest and one of the best. It's similar to the traditional Galactic Assault in that they're both large-scale battles with 40 players fighting over control points, but there are some big differences. Here, holding control points in the first phase earns you AI reinforcements, and then the winning team boards transport shuttles to try to take over the other team's capital ship. If they fail, the first phase starts over. It creates an epic tug-of-war, pushing and pulling across space and the planet's surface. The settings and power dynamic are all extremely reminiscent of both the Clone Wars and the massive battles in DICE's Battlefield series. Whether you're brand new to the battlefield or picking your blaster back up after a long hiatus, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a redemption story worthy of the Skywalker saga. It's a big, broad, beautiful shooter that nails the Star Wars atmosphere almost everywhere. The campaign is still a bit of a snore, and occasionally long queue times and matchmaking, and a handful of forgettable game modes give the multiplayer a couple of caveats. But highlights like Capital Supremacy make it stand out, and the progression system is fair and rewarding. Overall, it's a great package now that serves as one of the best and most thrilling ways to have an authentic Star Wars gaming experience. Hungry for more Star Wars? Why not watch our review of Jedi Fallen Order, or see the first episode of our series breaking down the movie's greatest lightsaber duels with the creative teams that made them. And for everything else, stick with us right here at IGN.
The Force will be with you.
Always.